let's dive a little bit into infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now, what are the potential benefits of investing in African infrastructure development? Now, we see obviously China aggressively pursuing Africa in these regards, and I see that personally to be a smart strategy from China, because with infrastructure you can see physically what's being done. There's no ambiguity. If you say, hey, I'm going to build X amount of miles of road, you can then turn and see, okay, that road was in fact built and what have you. But my question for you is like, what are the potential benefits outside of just, hey, we know it's here, we know you did what you promised, what are the benefits for foreign investors?
Oh, that is another great question, Hugh. Thank you. If you look at all the sectors, right? If you look at agriculture, if you look at healthcare, if you look at mining itself, the extractive sector. If you look at just even the financial system itself, one thing that is a critical ingredient to the sustenance of those sectors is infrastructure. You have to have, if you look at energy, for instance, that is critical to the survival of every short-term, long-term of every economy. If you look at just having accessible roads. But where I feel where the investment needs to happen is rural Africa. We're getting to a point of saturation with bigger cities, and over 70% of Africans reside in rural areas where the infrastructure is not first class. It's not top notch.
You said 70%?
Over 70%, yeah. Over 70% of Africans, live in the rural, what we consider rural, right? If you look at the major cities, how many people, if you look at a country like Nigeria, one of the biggest cities is Lagos. Lagos has a few millions, and then you go to the bigger cities like Kano and let's say Port Harcourt, for instance. There's a few millions of people in the city, but majority of them are agrarian or just artisans or small scale, like miners. And
right.
So the sustenance and the opportunity, the resource itself, it's extracted from mostly rural areas, and they're the ones that at least benefit from them as well. So there has to be. The strategy is to invest, to find a way to invest in rural Africa, where you don't limit your opportunity, especially in the age of digitization, right? First, you have to provide access because of the logistics of it. Let's say you have, you're doing smart agriculture, for instance, where you're improving the value chain and everything, right? Getting it from point A to B is very critical as well. So having, access roads and just electricity itself, those are really important to sustenance of it. So everything, let's look at it as an ecosystem, right? And everything, what holds it together, it's kind of like our body, right? The skeletal system kind of just holds different our body parts together, right? So look at infrastructure as that as well. It's that skeletal system that holds basically every part of the sector together. And if it's not there, then quite naturally you're going to see what happens is you're unable to do as a human being. Someone takes out your skeleton. What's going to happen, next. So that's the way I kind of that's the analogy I'll use to describe it. So first, there's even in the bigger cities, there's need to improve, infrastructure. We're talking about technological infrastructure and also other types of infrastructures like roads and also and the power sector as well. But there's need to mobilize investment into the rural areas. I think it increases our opportunity, it increases our bottom line, because the more people you're able to serve, the more people are able to afford what your product or your service. It makes it it makes business. It increases the longevity of every business, right? That means you're able to be in business for a significant while. So I feel that's what holds it together. If there's an improvement in that, it basically it accelerates and also creates more abundance in terms of opportunities, like in that sector. In addition to the aesthetics, right? That one, of course, is there.